SK Vibemaker.
And today in the virtual room, Teks Sinatra's here, man. His name is Teks Sinatra. If you don't know
Hello,
already,
Brad.
get to know. Come on.
Thank you very much. Because, you know, I was on another interview yesterday, bruv, and I was complaining, bruv, because certain people call me Teks, bruv, and that drives me up the wall, bruv. Like, they spell my thing, Teks. That's Teks Sinatra, bruv. Like,
Have some respect, man.
that's a bit rude, isn't it?
Well, while we're talking about the name and that, like, I know, give them the background story to the name now from the horse's mouth, just in case people have all of these other stories.
No. Teks Sinatra just came from, I think, like, man was in, like, year 8, year 9. Like, me and the man, I'm not going to lie, we just wanted to be some little hood youths, you get me? And we was just kind of brainstorming names because we was going to try, like, form like a little gang where to tear. It was nothing that, it was stupid, innit? But yeah, like, so man just brainstorming names, and then I said Teks, and then I looked at everyone just to see, like, do you not like that? Yeah, and they was like, yeah, that's the one. And then the Sinatra came because basically I think I joined Twitter a bit late for my age group. And like my brethren was just like my best friend, one of my best friend's moms, was just trying to force me to make Twitter. And then one time I think I was in cinema or something, and he was like, "Bruv, I just made you a Twitter, bruv." And then he's giving me all like the login things, and it was Teks_Sinatra. And then I've done a black box. I think Dave done his black box, then he added Lotes, who owns Black Box, big up Lotes and Dave as well. And they was like, oh, like, do you want to do a Black Box? I went there, and obviously I didn't really have like a proper name. I just thought, yeah, Teks, innit, like, man, Teks. And then when they uploaded it as Teks Sinatra. I looked at it, I was about to tell them, yo, change that, but then I looked at it again and I was like, don't change that, thank you. And then I just started running with that. And then, yeah, I've been Teks Sinatra since.
I'm not going to lie, man, it's a sick name. Some people might feel like you're indirectly paying homage to Frank Sinatra. You might even be saying to me, I don't even know who Frank Sinatra is. So there's no homage to Frank Sinatra.
Out of respect, though, I did do my research on Frank Sinatra afterwards, because I'm such a music nerd anyway, and it will be ignorant of me to take a man's name and not actually embrace his music and stuff. So I did my research thoroughly on him, and man actually listened to Frank Sinatra now. So that's it was a good way to becoming a Frank Sinatra fan. And that, yeah.
You know, you've kind of already explained the meaning behind the name Teks Sinatra, but just in case people thought, you know, there's no relation to Frank Sinatra, even though you're quite musical, both musical in your own right with your music. You know what I'm saying?
Someone on Twitter called me for that, though, because, you know, once you start paying for like sponsored ads and that, like, you just get pushed into like different types of accounts and that. So like I got pushed into, like, you know, like the real British Twitter and that. And
yeah.
They tweeted my thing saying Frank Sinatra was a pioneer who filled my childhood with lots of joy and blah blah blah. Do not try and steal his name for cheap. Blah blah blah. I read it. I couldn't even respond to it. I just said, you know what, bro? I hear you, man. I'm sorry. I said, yeah, bro, I hear you still. I'm sorry, man.
Lord have mercy. The way that social media goes crazy sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, social is nuts, man. Social is scary. I like in 2017 and that, when obviously that whole Storms thing happened, like, I remember I used to be on socials, like, fairly, like, I used to be okay tweeting and that. So if you check my Twitter now, I'm just like, it's not because I ain't never been one of them people that tweet like nothing crazy, innit? But I've seen people like get mad at someone tweeting random stuff like, yo, like I don't really like vanilla, and then someone will quote tweet and say, your mum should die right now. How can you not like vanilla? So now man just too shook with socials. Like, now I'm only on there to say, yeah, thank you, man. Thank you.
Listen, man, disrespect is disrespect, but when it comes to social media, Twitter, Instagram, and people want to get in the Twitter in the comments and say crazy stuff, it's not the real world. You have to have some thick skin, and
Yeah.
you need to just learn to ignore it certain times. Otherwise, you are going to be chasing down the road all the time, like your
Do you know?
like your rear's on fire. You get what I'm saying?
No, it's 100% true. It's 100% true. It's just, you know, sometimes though, man, like,
It can be a draw out.
yeah, like, you know, my problem is I know I bet. Do you get me? Like, so the best thing for me to do is to avoid certain situations, just because I know how I'm like easy lost. Like, I bet so easy. Like, I'll bet at anything. Like, literally. So it's like with certain stuff, I just remove myself because I know I'm sensitive. Like,
Avoid debate. I hear that.
I'm a
Straight up.
sensitive youth.
Just off camera, just off audio, just a moment ago, you were saying, I don't know about Croydon, man. I'm for more a specific part. Just break it down for them, Tex.
Men rep Croydon to the definite. Like, Croydon's men home from West Croydon to Norby to Stretton to all of that, innit? But like, obviously, where everyone kind of just groups Croydon, there's bare different types of like areas within Croydon, innit? Man grew up partially in Pollard's Hill, innit? And that's man's block still. That's where man really kind of lived my adolescence kind of thing, innit? So yeah, that's man's block. So as much as man want to rep Croydon and that, man, I want to like specify like Pollard's Hill, innit? Cause that's
Straight.
man's home. Do you get me?
And there ain't nothing wrong with that, man. You know what I'm saying? So Pollard's Hill, for anyone that hasn't been there, that's from London, from the rest of UK, from Europe, worldwide, what specifically about Pollard's Hill are like the main parts, like the landmarks or the great parts or maybe the bad parts?
Well, it's just I'm not gonna lie to you. They ain't nothing nice that you can go visit the Pollards, innit, kind of thing. It's just it's like council houses and like it's just I'm not gonna lie. The best parts is just the mandem. Do you get me? Innit? Like just it's like growing up there. Probably if you didn't grow up there and you went there, you won't see why a man love it. Do you get me? Because it's just it's a piece of, I don't know if man's allowed to swear in it, but it's just like any other block kind of place. But like yeah, no, it's got a big contribution to who I am now. My kind of personality, my little like ways of speaking and dialects and stuff like that all comes from Pollards and the ends kind of thing, innit? So yeah, no, it's just it made like a certain type of breed. You get me?
You kind of said before that you weren't born here, and I don't know if that's been documented. Where were you born and how old were you when you came to this country, man?
I was born in Uganda, Kampala, and yeah, I came here when I was turning 5. Yeah, 5. So yeah, I came here, born 1996, came here 2001. I'm correct, yeah. So yeah.
How would you describe your upbringing as a Ugandan Brit and how you feel like it differs from like maybe other Brits which are of other descendants, whether you're a Caribbean Brit, an Asian Brit, or just an English Brit? How do you feel like your upbringing differed as a Ugandan Brit?
Do you know what, like, where I grew up as like a asylum seeker. So it's like my version of growing up wasn't probably like my cousin's version of growing up kind of thing. Because I was just moving from like hostel to hostel in like my younger years kind of thing. But yeah, like in terms of like culture wise, being a Ugandan is just funny. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's funny because like all your uncles and that think they're mad British, but they're not. But they act like it. So it's like when a British man comes around and like they're first to talk about politics when you don't really know much about what's going on in British politics. But they'll be like, yeah, see Boris. But yeah, no, it's yeah, I love being Ugandan, man. I'm very proud to be Ugandan. Yeah, literally still.
Now,
Yeah.
talk to us, man. You've just released your debut project at the top of 2021. A lot of people say that it's overdue. Many people have been waiting for a project from you. Some people know the Teks Sinatra story thus far. Many people are just discovering you. How would you break down the music journey thus far, man?
Music journey thus far is, like obviously man started doing music probably like 11 years ago when I was a little kid. I was in a group, once again, that group was from Pollard Hill kind of thing. And we was like, we was just like there was bare of us, like there was just bare of us kind of thing. And then eventually I think I hit 18 or something like that. I thought, alright, cool, like, let me try. I'm a selfish writer, innit? So I just thought I can't just keep going on songs and singing a quick 16 bar and just cutting, because there's more to me. And like, even like, so I just started putting out songs on SoundCloud kind of thing. I quickly amassed like a core fan base, and it was so weird because, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I started putting songs out on SoundCloud and that, I thought I was gonna get mad corn, you know. Like, I put it out and I literally looked for a platform where it don't show man's face, because I thought, if man slap this on YouTube, but they're just gonna rinse me, bro. Like, you get me? So I put it on SoundCloud, hope for the best, because I had never got like a reaction of just myself kind of thing, like on social media. So that was like my first time putting something out, and then I quickly amassed like a good following. But then obviously I just got distracted doing other stuff, like life just kind of got in the way kind of thing. For like loads of years. So I never really got a foot in. I was always at the door and that, but I never really got a foot into music and like really tried to like take it serious, like, because I just couldn't. You get me? But yeah, I'm here now. Anyway, I'm here. Sorry, I'm here now.
Straight up.
And and we're moving, man. We're moving. This just the start. God willing, a lot more to come. You get me?
I mean, everybody doesn't take the SoundCloud route, and the SoundCloud platform, that route was definitely an important part early in your journey. Some people might call you a SoundCloud rapper. That SoundCloud rapper has a big stigma attached to it. How do you feel about being called a SoundCloud rapper? Do you feel like a SoundCloud rapper?
When you're in the real world and that, like, social media things can't really rattle you like that. Do you get me? So it's like, man's not a SoundCloud rapper because man's in the real world. Do you get me? I just make music, and that just happened to be. There's nothing wrong with a SoundCloud rapper as well, but I feel as if I think that stigma kind of limits an artist a lot of times, kind of thing. And yeah, like, man, I'm to be honest, no one's really ever referred to me as a SoundCloud rapper, but like that wouldn't really rattle me. I'm in the real world. I just put out music and just, if it does well, it does well on whatever platform, kind of thing, innit? So
Real talks.
Yeah.
Now on the EP, Home for the Winter, there is definitely a decent amount of vulnerability on the project. There are many artists, or a significant amount of artists, that don't mind showing that side, the vulnerability. And then you got, I feel like, a lot more artists that want to be the hardest. They might feel this vulnerability, but they're not going to put it in their music because maybe the fans might call them a bit soft, or maybe there's like a sort of an opinion that comes with it. Now, for you, how much of a challenge is it for you to put that vulnerability in the music, knowing that some people are going to challenge your rawness and you being a hard rapper with the content?
You know what it is, bro? Like, it kind of goes back to the same thing. Like, I like these questions, by the way. Like, it kind of just goes back to the same thing. Like, man's really in the real life. Do you get me, innit? So it's like, I don't know, like, I used to kind of be very cautious and conscious about like people's opinions on social media. Not that I've ever had like bad opinions, like real bad opinions thrown at my way, but I used to kind of like write and be scared, or maybe I'm saying too much there, maybe I'm saying too much there and that. But then I realized it's not music if you can't make it special, if it's not personalized to who you are. Do you get me in it? Because I feel like the more like I'm getting, the more pressure is coming to me with like delivering like songs and stuff. I realized the only thing separating me and like, say, someone I walk past down the road is I can't sing, like man can't sing. So the only thing separating me and someone else is the words that we pick on a song. Do you get me in it? And like, so if man's just rapping, saying the same thing as everyone else, and it's not personalized to my feelings and my like version of events and stuff like that, and I feel like you're only holding yourself back, kind of thing. Do you get me in it? So yeah, like with stuff like being vulnerable and that, like, man, I'm just in the real life. Do you get me?
You're at ease with it.
Yeah, I'm so okay with it. Do you get me?
So Married is one of your first songs that got it popping for you back in the SoundCloud days, and that you spoke about it briefly just before. How many marriages or divorces have you had thus far, man? Are you down for marriage? As your mind state changed towards your feeling towards marriage? For all the female fans out there.
Man's a married man right now, so my girl's on the back over there right now. So we ain't married still, but basically, man
committed
off the market. So literally.
I'm not trying to put the spotlight on you like this, but
no, it's calm, bro. It's calm.
Are you under pressure? Because when you're in those committed relationships, I'm in a committed relationship. The heat can turn up over the years, bro.
No, do you know what it is? I'm watching my answers right now because she's here. I ain't like, man, like, I could come off this thing and she'd say, why did you say? You get me? I'm just watching my answers. Now they can see cool, man.
Well, moving on from that, man. What's your take on the current state of UK rap at the moment? UK based hip hop. How you feeling about it, man? It's had its ups and downs over the years. I feel like we're in a good time at the moment.
I was gonna give you a mad like conservative answer on that, but let me be 100% real. Basically, I feel as if there's so many like good artists, but there's no quality control no more. Do you get me in it? I feel as if because like it's almost so easy to make a song that people are gonna like for the moment, kind of thing. Whether that doesn't always mean it's good, but it just means it's got something about it that people are gonna like for about a month or so, innit? So we're so congested and stuff. But this is nothing to do with me. Like, this is if I didn't make music at all, innit? Because I always like whether I like someone's music or not, I'm always just for them winning. Do you get me in it? But yeah, just as a fan, I feel as if where it's just so congested, it's become so congested now. It's kind of hard to gauge whether it's at a good level or a bad level, because it's like the good music always prevails in the end. Like, it always like charts and blah blah blah, and like you can champion that, but then I feel as if the consistency of how long you have to wait for something special to come about is kind of, before, like a few years ago, maybe like, I don't know, maybe like during like the Grand days and stuff. Me, myself, I ain't the biggest fan of Grand, but I can say that in terms of quality control, when they was putting out projects and stuff, and like who really got a look in and stuff, there was more like talent amongst person to person. Now I feel as if there's so many things that can make you, it's becoming more like American, there's so many things that can make you a rapper now. It's no longer just about music, which ain't a problem though. That's just.
But you see, like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Back when you were saying about the grime days that less artists were getting opportunities, and you would say that maybe the finest artists rose to the top. But then there was a lot of artists complaining about not getting opportunities, and there was a lack of opportunities. Now, you could maybe complain that the thing's getting flooded and a lot of people are getting opportunities, and there's a lot more like formulas and all that going on. But you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And right now, a lot of artists are getting opportunities, and I don't feel like we can maybe be mad at that. Maybe some people are more fighting against the alternate rap, because there's like there's a niche of artists that are doing this alternate rap, and it's not drill. it's not road, it's not trap, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
not grime. And then people are looking
Yeah.
at it like, oh, that's just like a separate thing and no one's owning
Yeah,
it, and
yeah,
it's kind of
yeah,
being
yeah.
pushed in a corner. So there's
Yeah.
loads of factions, man.
Yeah, no, literally, like, and you know what? With me as well, man's not. I take everyone's music for what it is. So it's like, as someone who probably is more like, I like lyricists and good productions and stuff like that. But when I say lyricists, I don't mean people that rap algebra and stuff like that. I like meaningful lyrics and stuff like that. Do you get me?
Straight up.
Innit?
And
But
concepts, do you know what I'm saying? A
yeah,
song
concepts,
that
you
is
get me?
about something rather than just a loads of words that
1,000%.
rhyme and bare wordplay,
yeah,
but there's
yeah,
no
yeah.
actual, you know what I'm saying, no meaning to the song.
But in the same breath, though, it's like if someone else doesn't do that, I won't hold them or judge them for those same things that I look for in maybe my preferred type of it. I'll take them as they are, kind of thing, innit? So like whether it comes to drill, to wave, to material rap, to whatever rap, like I'm a fan of bare artists. You get me? Innit? It's just that sometimes, like, that's why now I think I'm more on streaming things rather than YouTube, because like YouTube, you gotta go through bare different things, and sometimes like the songs ain't even bad, but they're just not special. Do you get me? Innit? And I feel as if like there's a real lack of special music being made, and that's basically it. Like there's a lot of good music being made and decent music being made, but there's a lack of special music being made these days.
Special and timeless. So what's your take on, you know, like in this music industry, you got artists that are part of the get along gang. They get along with everybody. They've got those big connects, those big cosigns. And then you've got other artists which are more on a lone wolf thing. They're by themselves. They're not here, there and everywhere. I mean, which kind of side do you feel like you're more into when it comes to this music industry, this music scene? Are you part of the get along gang with everybody, or are you more team lone wolf?
Do you know what it is? Yeah, man's just naturally it ain't really been from music a lot of the time, but like man's got a lot of brethren that are like somewhat established rappers or kind of. So it's like, but that's not like a get along gang kind of way, innit? It just so happens that one, like man's hood, like Croydon and that, is just full of like talent. You get me, innit? So like where we all grew up together, kind of thing. Like my man went man's school, man knows my man's brother, blah blah blah. So it's like man just like we all just kind of ended up growing up together, or like being friends eventually, kind of thing. But like. Yeah, like in general, I think I don't know. Like I've got after lockdown, I'm more by myself. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't really watch. I don't watch what anyone's kind of like up to or doing, and that's not in a bad way or like I'm looking down on anyone. It's just more so I feel like when you're too attentive of what everyone's doing or trying to be everyone's body or whatever, blah blah blah, it can cloud your judgment very easily because you're letting too many factors come into your life. You get me? So I'm kind of just taking it's not lone wolf, because I like my brethren are my brethren, and like whether or not they're rap musicians or whatever, I don't really mind, innit? But it's just me myself. I'm literally so focused on my own little world of just getting this done, getting that done, getting this done, getting that done, now that I'm too out of touch.
Straight up. Now, talking about industry connects and all that kind of thing, there was that infamous tweet from 2017 where you tweeted about Stormzy, and it was told my mum I got a tune with Stormzy on the way. Lord forgive me the lie. I just needed her to take my rap career seriously. Since then, what has happened with that Stormzy connect, man? Has anything become of that? Have you not been in the studio? You made a song together? What's the plans, man?
We went studio bare times together, like big man thing. And you know what, like it wasn't a facade on Stormzy's thing, on the Stormzy's side, in the sense that like he was proper like rooting for the song to be made. Like I remember how many sessions like we went to, and like when I really clocked like bro really wants to make this song. Like it's not a facade. It's I must have missed his message at once because we finished studio. He's dropped man home. He must have messaged me saying something about the song, like like he felt as if it needed this and that. But I think I fell asleep, and then when I woke up, I just had too many messages and I didn't see his and stuff like that. But because he was so like eager and like he sent the the question mark thing, and I was like, oh, bro, you actually want to make this? Like, because before that I felt like, I hope he don't feel like he's got to make this thing, blah blah blah. But yeah, no. So the song itself has been made, it's been recorded and stuff, but like it just kind of got lost in a whirlwind of one, we wanted to change the beat, but like no beat that we was getting to replace it, because we got like different producers to come in and stuff, but no beat that we was getting to replace it was hitting perfectly, and then where like he got into like album mode and stuff like that, and then the moment just kind of passed, you get me? And from like an artistic perspective, I understand that. Like I can never look at him and like weird, so like, because like you got to really time your artistry moves kind of thing, innit? So like where it just kind of timed up, but I could see in his hearts of hearts that he actually wanted to do it. I couldn't like be mad, you get me?
Big up to Stormzy, because I mean, there's not a lot of established artists doing major things like him that's looking to put on younger artists that are lesser established, man. So that's big moves. Do you know what I mean?
1,000%, man. 1,000%.
Scared of Getting Old is a big track on the EP, on the debut project, and you got the line on there where you say, I probably should have made it to class, but I was too busy chasing money. I mean, how much of a challenge was it making it on that straight and narrow, swerving the street life and making it into this world as a serious musician on your way up?
For most youths, it's like a eternal like challenge. You get me? You know, I feel where it's like the pressure is coming from all types of directions, kind of thing. Innit? Like a lot of us grew up without having much anyway. So as soon as we get that little independence to do something and like change your situation, you feel obligated to do it. Like, you get me? And yeah, like it just comes from pressure. Just comes from all the, like it comes from life situations. You get me? Where we're not really dealt the best set of cards, or even like sometimes the best education and stuff. We kind of, I feel, by our late teens and stuff, we're so in deep with problems and stuff that we just kind of, a lot of youths just kind of got to take up. I like, man, no bare youths that started doing like badness, but they're not even like that. Do you get me, innit? But yeah, so it's a challenge. I don't really know how really be like stopped like from generation to generation kind of thing. But yeah, like for me, it was something that man was having to deal with like continuously, and yeah, it was hard anyway. It was hard.
It's been well documented, you reacquainting with your father. You took a trip, you went on holiday, and there was many years where you lot weren't in contact. Now, for a young man, having an absent father has a different kind of sort of impact on a guy. You know what I mean? Having your dad not there and stuff. Whose idea was it for you to reconnect and take that trip? Was it your own idea, or was it family pushing you? Yeah,
it was definitely my mum. Still, like obviously, my dad he had been trying to like establish a relationship kind of thing, but obviously one, because he was always inconsistent anyway. Like it was nothing I was ever considering like that. Do you get me in it? But like obviously my mum, she's not like, yeah, my mum's just like a better person than me and like nearly everything. Do you get me, innit? So
I mean, so should a parent, man. They're supposed to bring up their children,
yeah,
innit? So
literally, she's kind of like my moral compass kind of thing, innit? So, yeah, like where she was like, she pushed and pushed. Like I remember I didn't even have a passport at the time and stuff, and we was going through bare complications to get the passport and stuff. But like my mum was relentless, just so that I could go there and just kind of like see that side of my family and life and stuff like that. So yeah, no, that was all my mum.
So Home for the Winter is the title of the debut project, the debut EP. Break down the title for everybody that needs to know.
Home for Winter. So yeah, I started working on the EP. Well, I knew about the EP when I was still in America visiting my biological dad. So like a couple of the songs I started writing there, but then I started finishing it off properly when I came back. But obviously, where like stuff is like I had new stuff to document that were actually happening as like all that stuff was happening. Like thing from my dad to like relationship stuff, going tips up to like financial stuff and family stuff and like other stuff kind of thing. So it was like I just thought this is actually the perfect time to document something, innit? And where I started really properly documenting it when I got home, it was winter and I just felt man's actually got to be here too. Because I had started getting in a routine of like going on holidays that year as well and stuff where I was like, no, like this year man's actually got to just be here. I can't afford those kind of luxuries. And yeah, man. And it also tied in perfectly with like how the rest of the world spent their winter as well. Do you get me? So yeah, nah, that I like that name. So I'm kind of proud of that name. So I'm proud of that.
What's your musical school? Like, what were the artists and the musicians that were having a major impact as you, as a young artist, as a young man coming up in the game, that you feel like have had an impact on you as a young man and as an artist? What are some of those artists that you'd like to mention?
How much time you got? All right,
Keep it as concise as we can then. If you had to name like three. Did you say Little Kim?
I said from a little kid, Michael Jackson. From just Michael Jackson taught me how to like special, like what special felt like. Do you get me? I'm not saying man ever near Michael Jackson's specialness in it, but like there's certain feelings that I feel as if good music can bring to you. Do you get me in it? And like yeah, Michael Jackson, 100%. Who else was a key? There's so many. For me to limit it to three. Eminem was obviously man wasn't born here, innit? So I remember when I first came here, I had this little iPod or whatever my mum had got me. It only fit like nine songs in it. I had LimeWire, and I put whatever songs I could find on there. I don't even think I knew who the artist was. I don't know how I ended up on Eminem, but I downloaded it anyway. Kept on playing these same 9 songs over and over again, but like I kept on going back to Eminem songs and that.
It's a good choice.
Yeah, like literally, he made me fall in love with rap. Even though we rap completely different, he made me fall in love with rap kind of thing. So yeah, like where Michael Jackson made me fall in love with music, Eminem made me fall in love with rap. And so I think I was just trying to learn the language. So I just put in the fastest youth that can. That
Mad flows.
If I understand him, I can understand all of you lot kind of thing, innit?
So if you had to name number 3.
Number 3, it'll be unfair for me to say one and leave out another one just due to how they both influenced me. But I can name 20, but I'd say probably J. Cole / Drake. Like older J. Cole probably made me more like he opened my mind to like subject matter and stuff like that. You get me? Like when I came across him in like 2009, I remember like I heard Lights Please, and I heard Lost Ones, and I just thought, wow, these concepts are nuts. Like what people can do this, like that's nuts. So yeah, like J. Cole really like upped my pen game, like proper. Because I just started thinking more about what I'm writing about. And Drake, just like Michael Jackson, he to this day, like he can really make something special. Do you get me? And then like I've read like before where I was growing up, I thought, cool, everything needs to be metaphors or it's not special, and everything needs to be something. Do you get me? But like this guy just says words. Do you get me? He puts words along, no like barely any like metaphors or similes and stuff. But like he showed me that you can make something special and simple at the same time. Do you get me? So like with certain songs now, I just try to literally just word things as personal and as my version of events as possible, because I know that is really like what separates someone else, and like what to someone else would be special is just my little version of events, innit? Because like, see how we all just wait to get like little updates for Jake's life.
For real.
And that, like, it's so weird, like, bruv, like, why does man care about these things from Toronto in 2010 or whatever? Like, but man care, like, we all just care, do you get me? So, literally, yeah, I've got so many different music influences, though. Yeah.
So you said three goats, man. You know what I'm saying? You said Michael Jackson, you said Eminem, and J. Cole and Drake, like on a tie. But I feel like it's only right for you to mention a UK artist if there's one in particular that you can think of that's had a major impact on you.
Ooh, I'm gonna. Do you know? Let me not lie to you. I'm gonna name like 3, 4, 5. The reason I stayed away from UK artists is because I knew I'd have to name too many. Chip made me fall in love with UK music. Because I remember I was a little kid. I can't remember. I was like 12 and that. And when Chip came out with the Westwood thing, Gigs made me fall in love with UK music. Chip made me fall in love with UK grime. Do you get me? But Gigs, my quote, like old school Gigs is my quote. Bam and like Krypton Cohen and Young and Cash Tastic was man was on Facebook and that when I was like 13 hitting up Cash like yo bro like do you want to make a song and that it was nuts. Ed Sheeran, oh my god, that's my real goat though. See that man there, Ed. I don't want no slander in his name, bro, because that when it comes to like subject matters, simplicity, and making something special, something so special all in one. Like, I don't know how he does it. Like, a man can just sit there on a guitar, say words that aren't even that hard to say, and it would just sound beautiful, bro. Like, I don't get it, man. But yeah, no, definitely Ed deserves. Oh, Sam Smith as well. He's peak. Sam Smith is a great musician as well. Yeah, there's a lot, man. Adele, Sick. Cat Burns coming up, she's hard. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
Respect to all the influences, man. You mentioned some calibers there, you get me?
SK Vibemaker.